Hey, what's up guys? It's Ogre, aka Connor. I did that one backwards, I don't know if you noticed. Today I'm just doing a quick little shindig. This doesn't really have a point to it. I'm not going to really be doing anything special, like I said. It's just me doing some bases. I'm not going to try to make it very long. The last video was 20 minutes and it takes like 3.5, 4 hours to upload. So, you know, I might cut this really short because we're not going to be doing anything super fancy. What I'm doing right now is I'm just taking some Mechanicus Standard Gray, and I'm just going to be going over the rocks that I've previously put on these guys. If I can show here, I think the light's going to be blasting a little bit. Let me see if I can. Let's see if I turn off light, if it exposes better. Those are the rocks. So I just put these on there with some glue. I made a video on these guys previously, and right now, like I said, painting them in gray. Really simple, just kind of a messy job, nothing serious to it. What I'm going to do after this, if I don't get to it in the video, is basically with rocks, the best thing to do is to start with a dark gray. You could even do a black, and to highlight up from that black with a brighter color. You can do that with a light gray. You can also do that with white. You just have to be kind of more gentle, because you want to be careful you don't blow out the colors and make it you know, stand out too much. So what I've done on these guys previously, if you kept up to date with the videos, I think that video is called Ogre Basing Tutorial. Not really a great tutorial. I didn't go very far in depth. I think I just did the rocks, essentially. But you know what? That's really the most important part, I think, is to just know, and you know, some people don't. I know for a lot of people that might just be very, very repetitive. You know, like, okay, who the hell doesn't know how to do that? That's what somebody's saying. But you'd be really surprised, because some people don't. So, you know, bear with me on some of these videos if you're a regular watcher or reader in the Noblog, and it feels like this is very monotonous and something that you already know. Keep in mind, some people don't, and we've all been there. So, for this video, I'm also trying to do like a little test run. Later into this video, maybe around 5 minutes, I'll get there. I might just start talking about Leadbelchers, what their usefulness is in an army, what I like about the models in general. And for later on, I probably won't do it in this video, but I'm just going to go into like some day-to-day stuff, what's going on in my life, how things are going. I really need to start expanding my horizons as I'm starting to really slow down on the painting. It's just part of the cycle during the year. I slow down during this time of year. Very hard courses in school, biking, coming around the corner, biking, camping, backpacking, etc., etc. Takes a lot of priority in the summertime. When you are dealing with minus 25, 35, 40 weather all the time, it starts to take its toll, and you really want to get some summertime in when you can. I can certainly say I'm very much looking forward to swimming at the girlfriend's pool. Very much so. So I'm just about done putting the Mechanicus Gray on these guys. Again, I'm not even looking at the camera, as you can see from the angle. I'm sure this is probably blown out and you can't see what the hell I'm doing, but you know, hopefully you just listen to my pretty voice and enjoy it from that. And if you don't like it, let me know. Please give me some comments on the Noblog about what you think about this lighting. I might try to change something up, maybe even shut off the light. I don't know, or set up a different light fixture. I can move this light around, so I could try a couple different things. So, we've just put on that gray. Before we go into anything else, I'm going to let that dry for 2 seconds. I'm going to go over what the important paints are that I use in a basing. So we have Mechanicus Battle Gray. Important things that I did before this, I put the rocks on with some PVA glue. I do have the Games Workshop stuff, but you could use any. You want to get some slate rocks. This is from a basing kit, big and large, or sorry, medium and large. I use some of these grass tufts. I use Midlands tufts because I like that, kind of like that prairie-ish look. Not that I'm doing a prairie, I'm looking for like a highlands because the grass are very bland. Up in the mountains, grass tends to be much more of a beige color because they store a lot of their nutrients in their roots, as opposed to their leaves because they're trying to store energy. Scorched grass for the same effect. And okay, back to paints. Adaptus Battle Gray, Codex Gray. This is the old one. I'm sure it has an equivalent these days, but it's just a little bit lighter than the Mechanicus Battle Gray. Sorry, yeah, a little bit lighter. These are Praxi White, which is a dry brush white. I got that very recently. That's for the very, very, very end dry brushing phase, and you do it super light. And honestly, you might even be better off using like a Tyrant Skull, which is a dry brush. You could just use bleach bone. That's the equivalent. For the stones, not the giant rocks, but just the normal pebbles that I've put around, I dry brush very lightly with a Mornfang Brown for dirt. And I also blotch this in certain areas, sterile and mud. This is a texture paint. It's very gritty. It's got the sand in it. I don't know if you can hear that grinding. Very, very gritty. And another one that I've just started to use is the Deathworld Forest, and it is a very pukey green, but at the same time very mute. It's great. I take that and I usually use like a stippling brush, something like this. Very hard texture, and I just kind of go at these edges of the rock to make it look like it's let's say moss, something like that. Okay, so I'm already at 6 minutes, and I realize I'm never going to get through these guys, so I'm going to put these away. Well, not put them away, I'm going to put them here. And I'm going to take a suggestion that I've got from a reader, and well, I'd like to call them a friend, really, because they are a friend on the community. I won't mention the name. If he's okay with it, I will, but you know, some people don't like the attention. I'm going to talk more about like what the units are. I know I've always been more of a hobbyist, but I'm gonna try to dip my toes more into the gaming aspect of it and give you guys my take on what these units do in an army, what their function is, and you know, it'll be a really great way to fill in the dead space of a video. So I've just decided this right now. This will be part 1 of the base making, so it's probably going to be a 4, 5, 6 part tutorial, and it's all going to be small steps. But we'll start off just by talking about the Leadbelchers in general. Their stat line, they have a movement 6, just like all the other ogres. A weapon skill of 3, that is the same as other ogres. Ballistic skill of 3, that's a 1-up from regular ogres and Iron Guts. A strength of 4, same. Toughness 4, same. Wounds 3, same of course. A initiative of 2, that's also the same. And they have 3 attacks in close combat. And then leadership of 7, 1 lower, I believe, than regular ogres. I'm just going to take a look at that. Nope, that's the same as ogres, and then Iron Guts have the 1+. That's the 8 leadership on the Iron Guts. So, what are these guys, and what are they for? Well, they are a special choice, and they're interesting because they are a very random choice. So, these guys are going to perform extremely well, or they may not perform as well as you might have liked. Their Leadbelcher gun, I'll just reiterate from the book here. Equipment, Leadbelcher gun. Leadbelcher gun is a missile weapon with the following profile: 24-inch range, 4 strength, armor piercing, multiple shots, D6, and slow to fire. So I'm going to shut the book there, and what that means, and while I talk, I'm just going to try to go into my painting. Let's see if I can actually multitask. Is that you roll to see how many times they're going to shoot. So if and please correct me if they're wrong, guys. I'm probably just spitting bullshit. But you roll, and if you roll 6, for instance, they shoot 6 shots, that kind of thing. You know, that's the gist of it, really. I'm sure it gets a little more complicated than that. I actually haven't used them in combat yet, but I've heard great things. I've heard that a group of 8 of these guys, so 4x4, is scary as hell for pretty much everybody that you'd be going up against. Nobody wants to get a potential of, well, you know, hell of a lot of shots coming at them. I don't know what the average would come out to. I'm sure someone can tell me. Do a little math hammer. But, you know, that's really scary. So I'm just going to do a little dry brushing here with the Codex Gray. Story behind these guys is that they are regular ogres with a deep love for anything that goes boom, essentially. They have done trading, and it says this in the book, and this is actually really cool. I was really impressed with this when I read the Codex. They mentioned Chaos Dwarves. So any Chaos Dwarf player out there, and I'm thick into the lore, so that was exciting for me to read. You know, they mentioned the Chaos Dwarves, and that's super cool. They've basically done trading with the Chaos Dwarves, and that's their steady supply now of these cannons. So they use a lot of these cannons from the Chaos Dwarves. They also picked them up on the battlefield after a battle with the Bretts, the Empire, Dwarves. You know, this is basically a replica cannon from, I believe it's the Empire set. So pretty cool. You know, these guys are loading these things up with everything they can. They're putting... you know, if they have cannonballs, they'll put cannonballs. They're sticking bunches of weapons and axes all in there. I even saw one guy one time do a little modification, and he put a Noblar stuck in the end, and I thought that was so funny. If I could do the green stuff, I would. So, and yeah, and that was really cool. So that's what these guys are all about. They're these ogres with a love for gunpowder. You know, the models themselves are just gorgeous. All the cannons are different. Now, my only pet peeve with it, and it is kind of a big pet peeve, is that all the cannons line up in the same direction. Like they're all pointing in the same way. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's all like ding, 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 ding. I wish they could maybe have one guy pointing the cannon that way, one guy pointing it like up this way. It would just add a little bit more, life, I guess, to the model. So, I don't know. This is the countdown to the end of the video. I'm just going to finish up putting the edge highlights on these rocks with the light gray. Doesn't take much effort. Super simple. I mean, I love doing bases, but after you've done a ton of them, it does kind of get a little monotonous, I guess. I don't know if you guys can see the way my hand's moving. I'm not even really dry brushing. I'm more just like blotting. It's not like you have to be super specific or anything or super careful at all with the rocks. I mean, you're gonna wash them anyways. So in the end, you don't have to be really, really careful. They're gonna look fine. So I wouldn't worry about that kind of stuff. Okay. Just a little more gray along these areas here. Where I find they really come into their own is when you throw on the black wash. You throw on a black wash right at the end, and then you highlight up with one of the super light colors, and that really makes things pop. I've found over the years of painting, what I've found is that you get like a whole bunch of these different skills. You learn how to dry brush, for instance. You learn how to edge highlight. Just recently, you know, I've picked up the talent of painting those tusks. And those tusks now, like learning how to highlight progressively with colors into a darker color coming from a really light one, you'll notice that those are very transferable skills, and that once you learn one thing, you'll find that you can apply it to many, many, many different techniques, but just by switching the colors or switching a brush. You'll find that a lot with this painting hobby. And another thing I learned that's kind of encouraging, and I say this as much as I can, is that it's never as hard as it looks. I remember looking at the models on GW. This is when I was collecting Chaos Space Marines. Oh, P.S. I'm going to throw this out there right now. I have a box of Chaos Space Marines, Khorne Berserkers. I also have a box of pre-update, is it Grey? I believe it's Grey Hunters or Grey Wolves for the Space Wolves. Is anyone a player of those who would want to do like a trade? I'll even take the loss on it. I'll give you both boxes for like a box of ogres. I'm just ready to get rid of the damn things. I'm so tired of hanging on to them. Ottawa is a really, really bad place to sell things. people are really, really cheap. Maybe that's everywhere. I can't even get oftentimes on like a used site. Like I'll put something up that's just for ballpark. I'll say it's worth $100. You'll be very, very lucky to get 40 out of it. You might put it up like brand new inbox, worth $100. Give me 80 and call it a day. And people will be like, dude, I'll give you 20 bucks if not. Oh, and I want you to deliver it. Like the audacity of people, it's pretty crazy. So I kind of got fed up after a while. And I'm not like that at all. When it comes to buying things, like, whoa, I knew that was going to happen. I've kind of got this makeshift rig. We'll see if I can edit that out, but you know what? I know damn well in my mind I'm not going to. I'm going to post that up just the way it is. Because I could not give a shit. Not that I couldn't give a shit. I want the best quality for videos, but I really don't want to get into all that messiness of editing videos. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry. That's not something it's not something I want to get into. Okay guys, so I've just done that highlighting. So what that's done is it's kind of made the larger rocks stand out more from the smaller rocks. And all I've done with that is just taking a Mechanicus standard gray and a Codex gray. So after that we're going to do a black wash, and then after that we'll highlight up with a much lighter color, either a bleached bone or a white. Probably end up going with a white. And I would do that process for the same with any other unit, like the Morn Fang. I'm going to do the base on him, and that's going to look so gorgeous because you just got so much real estate to work with. Put some, little hills, maybe throw in a couple skulls with mud on them and stuff like that. It's going to be really great. So that's part one of the video. I'm going to finish that up now. Maybe next time I'll go more into the lore with these guys. I could read the segment. This was just kind of a spur of the moment thing. I'm really bored. One of my buddies is coming online in a couple minutes, probably an hour, to play some StarCraft, so I'm kind of excited to do that again. I haven't done that in ages. Please give me suggestions. If there's something you want to hear about, if there's a tutorial you want to see, I mean, make sure it's something I know how to do, obviously, but if you've seen something in a previous video or post or pictures I posted and you say, hey, you know what, how did you do that? I'd like to know how to do that. Tell me. I'll make a video, I promise you. The people who give me feedback, the people who talk, they are very important in my books. They're what drive this community, and I'm gonna take care of that niche, if you will. So just be open, and I'll do what I can to make it right. Okay, so thanks for tuning in, guys. Sorry, Jesus, an 18-minute video again. I can't believe I just ramble on. I don't know where the time goes. Thanks, guys. Cheers. This is part one. Part two will be coming up very soon. I might even do it right now. I just want to make sure I separate these. Cheers.